Hello and welcome. Today we are talking about some new products from Dior. We have the Dior Forever Glow Star Filter, as well as two of the new, these are the Forever Glow Maximizers. These are limited edition. This one here is now part of the permanent line. So let's start off with swatches. This here is the Forever Glow Star Filter, and this comes in your skin tone shades. So I have shade 0. And this is going to be in a pump dispenser. And you can see that this one here is going to be kind of like a pearly nude kind of shade here. And we're just going to buff a little bit of that out right here so you can see that. So this product itself is a little bit more like something like the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, something like that. And we'll talk a little bit more about this and its uses, but it is meant to be a multi-use, multifunctional purpose. But we are looking at more of your skin tone shades, whereas the Forever Glow Maximizers, these are multifunctional products. There are a variety of different shades. They are all limited edition. I picked up 2. So I picked up the Pearly, which is your white shade here. And you can see these have a doe foot applicator. And put this one right here, and then we'll blend out a little bit of that let's just blend it out right here, I guess. Now you can see that the Pearly shade, let me just go ahead and redo that. So the Pearly shade here is going to be sparkly. So there is some shimmer, some glitter in the Pearly shade. Now these, again, we'll talk about their uses during the details and demos, but these can be blushes, liquid highlighters, they could be bronzers, they have a variety of different uses here. So just go ahead and we'll just add a fresh swatch here and buff this one out. Now there are 2 pinks in this collection. I picked up the lighter of the 2 pinks. The deeper one is going to be very well suited for blush. This works as blush for very fair skin, but it is on the lighter side. So you can see that the pink is going to be shimmery, but it's not glittery, whereas you can actually see glitter in the Pearly shade. So let's move on to the details and demos and talk a little bit about these. Now the Forever Star Glow Filter is a liquid highlighting concentrate or complexion enhancing fluid. It is multi-use. There are 10 shades. We have a 1-year shelf life, 30 milliliters or 1 fluid ounce, and it is made in France. Now, according to Dior, this complexion enhancer visibly brightens, smooths, and blurs the skin for a complexion that's more radiant than ever. The skincare makeup hybrid formula delivers 24 hours of hydration. It's multi-use and can be worn 3 ways. On bare skin to bring out a natural glow, before or mixed with the Dior Forever Skin Glow Foundation to boost radiance, or applied in touches after foundation to highlight areas of the face. So you can see all 3 of these ways in the demos. You can see me putting it on bare skin. That's what it would look like. Because this does come in more skin tone shades, this is definitely something you could wear just on its own. Perhaps you just want a little sheen on your bare skin, and it can be really beautiful that way. But you can also see what it looks like before foundation, and I've tested it with 2 different foundations here, so you can see what a more satin finish foundation would look like, and that's a Sisley cushion. And then also with a matte foundation, so you can see how much glow really can shine through a medium coverage matte foundation. That's the Chanel, and that is the Ultra Latin. This product retails for $55 US, and I think it's a really nice product. It is similar to some liquid highlighting concentrates we've seen before, like that of Charlotte Tilbury, but I do love how they have a more extensive shade range, and I do find that this feels a little bit less greasy on my skin than some that I have seen from other brands. It's also a little bit more subtle. When you put this on under foundation, you can really get a more subtle finish where you really have that lit from within glow. And you can also build this up a little bit more. But if you're looking for like more intense glow, I do think these glow maximizers are a bit more intense with the sheen and intensity of the shine. So let's take a look at these as well. The Dior Forever Glow Maximizers come in 6 different shades. I picked up 2 of the 6. They are limited edition, and these have 11 milliliters of product. They are made in France and we have a 1-year shelf life. According to Dior, this product is a liquid highlighter that brightens and enhances the complexion with an instant and long-lasting glow. Infused with ultra-fine luminous pearly pigments, Dior Forever Glow Maximizer creates a healthy glow effect that lasts all day long. Its fine and fresh texture blends seamlessly with the skin to reflect light with a no makeup effect. It's available in vibrant and universal color shades designed for different skin tones. It can be worn alone or as a finishing touch to makeup, and it is multi-purpose, so it is ideal as a highlighter, blush, bronzer, or eyeshadow. The applicator deposits just the right amount on the skin for easy makeup application. So here in the demos, I have it, I've been testing it underneath foundation so you can see how much glow there is compared to the star filter. And you can see, I do think that there's a little bit more of a sheen. Part of that is going to be a result of the color as well, because it's not going to blend in as well with the color of the foundation and so forth. So you might see it a little bit more pronounced with certain shades. You can see it on top of foundation. You can see it on my lips. It is not recommended for use on the lips, but I wanted to test it that way anyway. And then I'm wearing it on my eyes right now as well. And yes, there will be a little bit of creasing. Yes, it can crease throughout the day, but it's the minimal amount of creasing, the type where you can just gently tap out. And actually it creases a lot less than I expected it to. So I do like it for eyeshadow. Now, as we're looking at the two different shades, the pearly is definitely going to be very sparkly. So I really like that one on the eyes because it does have that sparkle and that sheen. I don't really like it so much on the face for me personally because I can see a lot of that glitter. Whereas the pink, that one has really more of a pearly finish. And I have to say, I think it's a really beautiful finish. I love that one as a highlighter straight up or as a blush. You can also mix this with other liquid blushes to, make them a little bit more glowy. You can mix it with some foundation even. And the deeper shades here can definitely be used a little bit more easily as blush. They have some beautiful shades. There's like a darker pink called Rosy. There is a peachy shade, and I think the bronze shade is also really beautiful. There's also a gold. So overall, I think they've got some great shades. I think the product itself is very nice. Between the two formulas, the Star Filter and the Glow Maximizers, they feel very similar on the skin. I think perhaps the Star Filter feels maybe a little bit more viscous than the Glow Maximizers, but it's pretty insignificant. And the Glow Maximizers retail for $45 US. So they are a little bit less expensive than the Star Filter, but we do have about a third of the volume of product. Now, I have to say, I think it's a really nice product. It's really fun colors. You could definitely do a whole look with this. And the first thing it made me think of were actually the Rodial liquid blushes. So let's go ahead and move on to a few comparisons. Let's start off with the Star Filter. All right, so here's the Star Filter. It has dried now, and you can see what the intensity of the sheen looks like as it dries compared to the white or the pearly and the pink. And you can see that this is going to be a little bit more subtle. There's a little bit less light reflection, even though we still have those nude tones. You can tell that the actual sheen itself is a little bit more subdued. And I think that makes it very wearable, very easy to use on a daily basis. Now, I don't have a ton of comparisons for this, but I did want to take a look at a few of these. So this one here is the Auric Glow Lust in Morganite. All right, so I added it right here. I think this is a really great product. Now, I just wanted to kind of show you the color difference here. You can see that the Morganite is going to be a little bit lighter, but it's also got perhaps a little bit more of a champagne-y gold vibe to it, whereas the Dior ends up being just a little bit peachier as it dries. And I would have to say the intensity is pretty similar, but the Auric Glow Lust does have a little bit more of a pearly finish to it compared to the Dior. And then we have the Lisa Eldridge. This is the Elevated Glow, and I have the shade Crystal Nebula. And this one does come in a wand. And let's go ahead and put this one on the other side of my wrist so we can see that with it. I mean, this is getting old. I actually have to toss this. So this isn't the best representation of the color. I did shake it, but you can see it does have some oil separation here. This is in general though, a thinner product than the Dior or the Auric. So just something to know. It's a really beautiful highlighter. It doesn't get tacky, but this is more straight up like liquid highlighter in my opinion, and it looks beautiful underneath or on top. But I do think that both the Auric and the Dior are a little bit more similar to each other's in terms of formulation. So let's take a look at these here. Now, the first thing I wanted to do here is this one, the Pearly shade for Dior. What it reminds me of is a liquid version of the oversized Chanel highlight in pearly white. So you can see we've got the glitter and everything here as well. The pearly white is actually going to be a little bit warmer. It's more like white gold, whereas we have a bright, stark white, not quite a silver white, but, basically just a true bright white for the Dior. But you can see that the finish on them is going to be pretty similar in terms of the glitter and shine. Now let's take a look at Rosy, and this one here is the Rodial Blush Drops, and this is the shade Frosted Pink. So these actually come in an actual pipette type formation, but you can see although the color is not the same, we have the same type of finish to it. The Rodial is actually a little bit thinner, a little bit more sheer. You can build this up to a very intense shade as well. And I wanted to also show you their bronze drops in these. It's also liquid blush, but this is Sunset Kiss, and it's a little bit more bronzy. So I just wanted to introduce this one as an option as well. And you can actually see the intensity of the metallic sheen in this pretty well. But let's take a look at some other liquid highlighters that perhaps might be a little bit more similar to Rosy itself, or Pink itself. And again, Rosy is the deeper pink and the lighter pink is called Pink. So this one here is the new Givenchy Prism Libra Skin Caring Highlighter, and this is in the shade Rose. And this is going to be a little bit more of a nude pink. This can be pretty intense. It can also be pretty subtle. This is one of my favorite liquid highlighters. But you can see it's definitely going to be a lot less intense than the Dior, and the product itself is slightly thinner than the Dior as well. Another one is the YSL New. This is their highlighter in quartz, or New Rosy Quartz rather. And this one here is also a beautiful, soft, kind of nude rose with just like a touch of mauve in there. And we also are going to have kind of a similar finish to the Dior here. So I would say that the finish of this is actually more similar to the Dior than the Givenchy. The Givenchy is just a little bit more subtle. This is the Jones Road liquid highlighter. This is their shimmer face oil, and this is in pink opal. And let me go ahead and put this one down here. All right, so here's pink, and here we go. You can see those are going to be pretty similar. The Jones Road is slightly warmer pink, and this has an oil-based texture to it. So it actually works really well on the skin. It doesn't really separate or anything, but it is going to be thinner and have like a little bit of an oilier texture to it than the Dior, which really feels more like it sinks into the skin. And then just a couple more. This is the Katie Jane Hughes highlighter. It comes with a shine serum, so you can basically customize your intensity, but you get this pigment, and I have the pink shade here, and this is called Rose Claire. And let's put this right here above that. You can see it's going to be a warmer pink. This is a gorgeous pigment, and again, you can make this more intense by adding that liquid shine serum as well. And then the last liquid highlighter I wanted to take a look at is the Gucci Illuminator. And this is going to have your pipette style dropper. We're going to put this one down here. This is obviously not a color like Rosy, but I wanted to compare this one because of the formula. I do think that the Gucci Illuminator would do better with a doe foot versus the pipette, but you can see here, it's a really beautiful like golden shade, but it's kind of like a medium golden nude. So it's a little bit too deep for my skin tone. You've got a little bit of copper hues in here, but you can see from the sheen that you get in the Dior The Dior is going to be more intense than the Gucci. The Gucci is a little bit more subtle. It's also a little bit, it feels a little bit thinner when you spread it out on your skin, but it definitely feels pretty viscous when you are taking it out of the pipette. So it does kind of spread out a little bit more. So just some things to note. Overall, I think these are all great options, but I hope that these comparisons help you figure out, whether the Dior products are something that are right for you. And remember that the Glow Maximizers, these are limited edition, whereas the Star Filter is going to be permanent. Now, my overall thoughts on the products, I have to say I really like them. I really like this Dior Star Filter. Typically these types of products aren't ones that I love because a lot of times they are just a little bit too intense or perhaps a little bit too greasy, but I really like the texture of the Dior one, and I think it really gives a really nice natural finish. I love the fact that they have a more extensive shade range for this too, so it just makes it a little bit easier to use, mix in with your foundation or whatever. So I really like that. Very happy that I picked that up. It's one that I'm going to continue to use on a pretty regular basis. And as for the Glow Maximizers, I think these are really fun. I really like them. I kind of want to get some more colors. I think the bronze would be great for a nice liquid bronze. These are going to be a more shimmery look though. So to me, they really scream summer and, fun in the sun, that type of thing. I think they would be great like on the beach and so forth, but I really like them. I think for every day, this one here in pink is the one that I like the most. And I like being able to blend it out with, another blush if I want, or just use as a highlighter. The pearly, I have to say, I'm not as happy with this one because it is so sparkly. I was hoping for something just like the pink, but white. And I didn't want all this glitter. So, that's a personal preference there. It is really pretty though. I like it on the eyes, but I personally don't love it on my face because of the glitter. Now, as for wearing it on the lips, it's not a recommended use. So I wanted to try it myself just to see, if I could feel any grittiness from the glitter or anything like that in the shade Pearly. And I would say you can't really feel the glitter particles, but it does kind of dry down to a little bit of a matte finish, which is great for these because they don't have a tacky texture. They kind of sink into your skin a little bit. And I think that's one of the things that really kind of sets these apart from some other liquid highlighters. They really kind of sink in, so they're not going to be tacky. And I like that aspect, but it does give a really frosty finish to the lips. So I personally would prefer to just go with something a little bit more like a sparkly gloss or something instead. So I just wanted to try it out, but it's not my favorite application for it. I would definitely go with the Dior recommended, functions for this product. I do like it on the eyes though. I mean, you can see I've had this on for almost an hour at this point. And I mean, look at this. Let me bring you in. So here is the eyes. And when I put it on, I didn't let it completely dry before opening my eyes again. So I had a little bit of a crease and I tapped it out and, just like maybe like 5 to 10 minutes after I put it on. And this is how it's been since then for about an hour. And I think it's holding up really well. So I have to say, I really do like them on the eyes. I think the bronze shade would also be great on the eyes. I think, probably the bronze shade is definitely one to go if you're looking for bronzer or for eyeshadow. I think it looks really nice. So if I do pick up more, that's definitely on my list. And overall, though, I have to say, I really like the formulas for both of these. I think they did a great job. So I'd love to know if you tried any of these, what your thoughts are, and let me know down below in the comments. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you very soon. Have a great day.